Hi there, I'm Ryan Ike, and I'm the composer on Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. In honor of the game's one-year launch anniversary and to celebrate the fact that we're up for a number of 2018 Game of the Year awards, we thought it would be kind of cool to look back at the soundtrack and the people who helped me create it. So with that in mind, in this video you're going to be hearing from Robert Matz, who's an amazing trumpet player who contributed to the score, and you're going to be hearing from him what his experiences were like working on this game with me. So, take it away, John.
Hi, my name is Robert Matz, and I play trumpet on the track Read 'em and Weep. My first game project was working on a game called Artemis, the Spaceship Bridge Simulator. It's this strange game where basically you and 4 of your friends, helm and crew and tactical and science, a Star Trek-style ship. Basically, every computer is a bridge station. It's a co-op game, involves a lot of shouting commands at each other, and other wonderful nonsense. But it was the first game I ever worked on, and it was an insane kind of process to get it. The developer had been running a kind of a promotional thing, because it's not much to look at. It's at the time, most of the game is, you have a view screen, which looks cool, but every other thing is just like computer terminals on a Star Trek bridge. The best way to kind of experience what the game is about is by watching other people play it. And so the developer had been doing a demo process where you could film you and your friends playing the game and post it to the internet and share it on YouTube, etc., and then contact him and he'd send you a free copy of the full game. So you play the demo, make a video, developer sends you the full copy. Well, I thought, let's go overboard on this. A lot of people have been scoring their videos with, James Horner and Jerry Goldsmith's Star Trek scores, John Williams' Star Wars scores, etc., some like EDM and electronic things, and I thought, well, let's just be a bit ridiculous and write your own score for this thing. And I thought it would be very easy, because I thought, surely I've got some music that I've written for other sci-fi, like short film stuff, and I can just borrow that. And it turned out, I had like a 10-minute video and wound up manually, not manually, but I wasn't able to reuse any of the music that I thought I could before. I basically had to score it from scratch. And I felt pretty good about it, though, and it took a lot longer than I expected, and it was a weird thing, but at the end it was nice. So I sent it off to the developer and said, hey, here's the video of me and my friends playing this game. Oh, and by the way, I wrote all the music for this. I noticed your game doesn't have music. Do you need a composer? And lo and behold, that was the first thing I wound up working on. Very shortly after that project wrapped, I had the opportunity to audition for a game called Gunpoint, which is where I met Ryan. And Ryan and Francisco Cerda and I worked together to basically provide all the music for Gunpoint, and that game has been a wonderful thing. And I'm still super happy to have met them and to have worked alongside them. So when Ryan asked me to play on Where the Water Tastes Like Wine, I was like, heck yeah. One more way to work with my friends. Unlike a lot of the other music in Where the Water Tastes Like Wine, my contribution was very much in kind of a vintage jazz vein. Read 'em and Weep is very like old school 1930s, maybe a little bit earlier, like kind of Ricky Tick jazz, and it's a cool thing. But it's also fascinating because like that's something I grew up listening to, like early jazz, like Harry James and Louis Armstrong, and maybe a little later like Al Hirt, who's still kind of channeling some of that earlier sound. Like these are trumpet players that I grew up like really digging, and so getting to kind of do that for a game score was awesome. Getting in like the right mindset for it, like it's just kind of harken back to my childhood, think about these old recordings and put yourself in the place. Gambling den of iniquity and fun nonsense, and let's be a jazz band. I don't know, fun stuff. So I worked alongside Ryan on a game called Gunpoint a few years ago. He did most of the score. I wrote the main theme and some other little bits, but we became really good friends. And when he asked me to play on a project that I had already heard about and thought looked really cool, I was very excited. First, I get to help out a friend, and second, like, it's a cool project. Like, it's beautiful. And something about, like, the very Americana aspect of it, the folksiness of it, was something that I was very keen to be a part of. So, what's something unexpected that happened during the process of learning and not recording these parts? Honestly, like, nothing was, like, super unexpected. You wrote a really good part, and it was fun to play. It's a good little track. Not part of the actual recording process, but one of the weirdest things in the whole thing was having recorded the music, and then a few weeks later, being at PAX showing a game I worked on called Wandersong, and having sat there in the Wandersong booth in the PAX 10 and having next to me West of Loathing being played, and then hearing Ryan's score from that and being like, huh, oh nice, Ryan Ike, he's everywhere. And then like a few seconds later, I hear my trumpet solos coming out of the Where the Water Tastes Like Wine booth, which is just on the other side of a wall. And I'm like, oh, wow, everywhere. We're everywhere. Great, wonderful. And so it was just kind of like hearing your stuff in the wild is always a little bit weird. Hearing yourself in the wild is always a little bit weird. What did I learn from the experience? I learned to never work with Ryan. I'm kidding. No, Ryan, you're great. What did I learn from the experience? I learned that we can have these wonderful touchstones in American folk music and put them in video games, and it's super cool. Probably one of the hardest things about being a performer on a game soundtrack, especially the way we handled the recording for Where the Water Tastes Like Wine, is recording remotely, having all the players recording parts separately and then putting them together on the other end. You have to kind of adhere to click tracks very tightly, which is something you have to do, to be fair, in like full session recording sessions as well. But in this case, like, because we did these tiny, like, one instrument at a time or like two instruments at a time recording sessions, like putting it all together at the end, and kind of like adhering to interpretive and like this slight little bits of musicality that you impart on a part, like having to make sure that those line up with someone else who's recording independently of you 1,000 miles away, is always a kind of a challenge. But we've done that for several projects. I've been a part of several projects that have done that, and Ryan has done that sort of thing before, and it all went pretty smoothly. So actually, in this case, in my piece, I played a duet with Kristen Negus, who actually I do know in person. She's a very good friend. So I think I know like everyone on this thing. So it's all people I have met in person. Not quite applicable, but still super cool to kind of get to work with them from a distance.